Good Good morning, everybody. Hey, how are you doing? こんにちは。おはようございます。I am Kamishiro Taishi, and you are watching a collab stream with Honey Melon over here. こちら、そのコラボ配信ですね。Honey Melon さんと、一緒に、対談雑談をしたりします。Alright. Take it away.
Hello. Oh, honey. I'm Honey Melon. I'm a MILF. That's a Melon Elf princess. I'm a Japanese to English translator. And as you can see, I'm also a VTuber. Cole Baker, hello. I see you.
Hey, Cole Baker. And Ghost. Hey. I mean, it's pretty rare to have like VTuber and translator. Are there many of us? Do you know?
I was just thinking about it earlier, and I can think of maybe 2 more off the top of my head.
2 more. All right. Well, we should.
And they're both like people that I directly knew from before. So there might be others out there that I don't know.
I see. All right. All right. First of all, I guess what's in a name, right? Like what is the meaning behind your name?
そうですね。
Do I need to start a sword as Nick counter? Are we doing this?
Oh god, maybe. Let's see. I get one for free, so if it keeps up, then you might have to. Also, hi Blake. Yes, well, my name is Honey Melon. My full name is Honey D Melon. The D stands for good, but it also makes me sound like a One Piece character, so nice. I like that. But yeah, it sounds somewhat similar to my human Sona name. You know, when I LARP as a human in my everyday life. I've got a smooth brain, so I figured it might be easier for me to keep track if they sounded somewhat alike.
That's a good idea.
Other than that, I like both honey and melons of all kinds, and I thought it sounded cute. What about you? Right. You got to pick kanji, which is both more fun and also harder.
Yeah, mine is a bit weird. Mine has a whole history, which is a bit chuny, so it's a bit weird. So I used to go by the name Tenshi. Oh my god, it's so weird. And so when I sort of went professional, I had to pick a different name. So then I went with like a slightly better Taishi, which sort of, I mean, Tenshi means angel, but like Taishi is sort of like it's a step down, I guess. It's it's still sort of a servant role, but it's, you know, it's an ambassador, and so Kamishiro is sort of like an ambassador, I guess. So
I think it's cool. Also, if it makes you feel any better, I do like my Gmail is I picked it. It's a Japanese word that I picked when I was like 13, and I still sometimes send business emails from it. So like my professional ass clients are getting my childhood chunibyo weeb email. So it's out there. It's great. I made a more professional one, but then it's just linked to the other one, so I still forget to use it.
Like, do you reply with the wrong email sometimes?
Sometimes.
I do.
Because I did it sort of after the fact. So sometimes they still just email the old one anyway, and I'm like, all right, I get it. You see me, it's too late.
Me too. I have like 2. I have like one that's my real name, and then one that's like my work name. And then like sometimes they email like the real one, and I'm just like, you know what, fine, let's do that.
Yeah. Oh God.
Well, that's an interesting way to start the stream, I guess.
Whoops. Excuse me, fell asleep.
All right. So, what do you translate? How did you start? And how have things changed since?
I'm not gonna say it. Well, that's what we say in English. Well, I translate Nichijou, Dragon Maid. I just finished New Game. For light novels, I do Song of Spider, So What, and Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody.
God damn, I love all those series.
And
they're all super good. Like when I watch Nichijou, that's still like one of my favorite animes ever, man. The humor is just
perfect. No, me too. And that's actually good segue. That's the reason that I got started translating, because I really loved the Nichijou anime. And then 800 years ago, there was, by which I mean like 6th, there was a contest called the Manga Translation Battle. I don't know if you ever heard of it or entered it.
I don't think so.
It hasn't been done in the past few years. But at the time, they would have like chapters from a couple of different theories, and you would submit a translation of a chapter, and theoretically, the person who won first place for each series would get the opportunity to translate it. I don't know if all of those panned out, but Nichijou happened to be one of the series. And I had just finished studying Japanese and had no idea what I was doing with my life. So I just full YOLO'd and submitted a really goofy, maybe even over-the-top translation. So I was like, I had nothing to lose, and also, that's the spirit of Nichijou. And it actually worked.
Did they take your over-the-top translation, or did you have to dial it down a little?
I think they kept most of that that particular chapter.
All right.
I'll never forget, there was a line that was like, ne nagara benkyou suru yo, and I translated it as like, I'll study in my sleep, because it seemed like a goofy Yuko joke, but
right.
One of the judges was like, that was supposed to be, I'll study lying down, and I'm like,
ちょっとやりすぎた。ちょっとやりすぎた。It does sound like something she would say. That she says stupid shit like that all the time.
ですよね。
Oh my god. So Death March, and what was the other light novel one?
Son of Spider, So What? Kumo desu ka nani ka?
So those are still
it's one of my favorites. As light novels go, I'm doing Shokei Shoujo no Ikiru Michi, and then oh my god, the furigana for Ikiru Michi is Baji no Odo, which is a lot, but so for maybe obvious reasons, the English title is The Executioner and Her Way of Life. It's not Virgin Road. That I was a proponent of not that. I know there were a handful of people that were like, they should have just kept it as Virgin Road, and I'm like, it doesn't sound as good as you think it does. Probably sounds like a very different kind of series.
Exactly. It would refer to something else. Why was it called Virgin Road in?
それはね、なんとですね。Virgin Road is a wasei eigo. Well, you know this, but like a made-up Japanese fake English phrase kind of thing. And it refers to the wedding aisle. So, which, there's a lot to unpack there.
I see.
I thought that was maybe less than ideal. It's kind of a mouthful now, but, titles are tough. I was just happy to get any input at all, because that doesn't always happen.
Oh, does it not?
Does it for you?
I mean, my experience working has been very limited, I guess you could say. Because I started with JNC, J Novel Club, and I've just always been with JNC. I've never worked with anyone else.
Right. I've never actually worked with them, although I came close at some point and just like schedules didn't line up. But they seem pretty neat.
Oh, they're super cool. I'm super happy working with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
It would definitely be nice to have one client and not 4.
Oh, you have 4 clients.
Technically, wait, no, 3, no, 4. And you know, they all are vaguely aware that I am doing work for other clients as well, but it's not like, you know, they're consulting with one another or asking me like, what deadlines do you have already?
Right.
So it can be a lot to juggle.
You have to juggle everything yourself. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like in JNC, like they help me juggle everything because I mean it's technically the same project managers for everything. So I work with the same person for all the projects I have. It's just the same person that I respond to. So.
Oh, that would make life so easy. But I can't give up on. I can't let go of any of them.
Well, I mean, understandable. Understandable.
They're usually pretty understanding if I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. How about this? Well, normally I don't say it in as many words so much as like, how about this instead? But once in a while, you know.
Are you replying?
It's like, no, we really need this by this date. And I'm like, okay, I'll just tell all my other clients that I died.
Pray for me.
I haven't used that one yet because I don't think I can come back from that one. Also, it might be awkward if I continue tweeting and translating other things.
That's true. Fair enough. So how did you sort of get in touch with all those different clients? Like, did you just keep like going to different places?
I feel like I got into it at a fortunate time because once I got lined up with Nishijo, which was initially through Kadokawa, the Japanese publisher, and then it got licensed by Vertical while I was working on it. And there was a bit of shuffling, and eventually, of course, I got to work on it for Vertical directly. So then once I had that going on, I was still like working at a craft store at the time, but I was like, okay, well maybe I can do this more. Like this is good. So I pretty much just cold emailed a bunch of publishers many times because, you know, not many times, but kind of many times. Because usually it's like, you know, you email them and maybe they send you a test and maybe you do the test and maybe
they never
you don't hear how the test went for a while.
Yes.
In one case, at least, I did a test and then heard nothing for like months, and then found out the person who had like sent me the test had actually left.
Oh my god.
But then after that, they were like, "Oh shit! Well, you passed. Can you do this thing that the other translator just ghosted us? You have 3 weeks." And I was like, "Okay, I guess."
3 weeks.
That was my first like no.
Fair enough. Wait,
I don't think it was actually 3 weeks, but it was not a lot of time is how I remember it.
Okay, because I was gonna ask you if you had to finish a light novel in 3 weeks, an entire novel. Shit.
Oh god, I hope that's not what it was. It probably wasn't. It was probably 4. I've done 4. I don't enjoy it.
Oh dear.
This is actually something that I didn't fully realize how yabai that is until I spoke with some Gino Cloud translators. Because you have more of like a chapter by chapter situation, right?
Well, for us, we sort of we split a book into 8 parts or 10 parts or 12 or very rarely 14 parts. And then we release one part each week.
Right.
Yeah. So at the shortest, one book is in 2 months.
Sorry. I'm good.
Okay. But technically I have 2 series going on at the same time, so technically it's still 1 book a month, but I pretty much have no time for anything else.
Right, okay. All right, I'll stop crying.
What is
the first time I heard, oh, we get like 10 weeks for a novel, I was like, oh. But it's not so bad because once I know that, I'm like, well, maybe I don't feel like such an asshole if I ask for like 6 weeks then instead of like 5.
Well, I mean, like when you work on things, do you like just work on like one thing at a time, or do you work on things in parallel?
I wish. Most of the time I'm working on at least 2 things at a time.
Fair enough. Though I personally...
When I do get to do... Sorry?
Yeah, go on.
When I do get to do one thing at a time, I'm like, oh man, this is great. I've got brain cells left at the end of the day. But most of the time I try to split it up, like I work on one project and then I take like a lunch break and then I work on the other project.
I see.
And you know, technically I could just do each project by itself twice as fast, but that's not super fun either, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I feel like it helps to have that like kibun tenka, like that change of pace, right? You do one and you do another, right? Yeah.
Exactly. I get like a little, you know, I have ADHD, so I get kind of distracted or bored if I'm just working on the same thing.
Totally understand.
I say that, but if I really only had one thing, then I feel like it wouldn't be so bad.
I mean, you would cope somehow, but it's just better to have 2. I feel like, because sometimes like a series you're not really feeling it. Honestly, you slog through, and then
what are you talking about? Honestly, I have been pretty lucky because most of the stuff I work on, like I think because my first series was Nichijou, most of the folks I approached were like, oh, so you like comedy or whatever, and they gave me more of that, and I do like comedy, so
nice.
There's very few that I'm like, yes, this one.
Fair enough. All right, should we move on to the next one? Let me see. What was the next one? Oh, live translating.
Yeah. You definitely do more than I do, so I want to hear your side of it.
Right. I mean, I do want to hear your side too, because I mean, what do you want to ask about it, I guess?
So desu ne. I couldn't fight it. I mean, how did you start? Who was the first VTuber that you live translated for?
Right, how did I start? Honestly, like I don't really remember how I started.
Oops.
I just remember thinking to myself, I think I can do this. And then I tried it, and I found I could do it. So then I just kept doing it because it was fun.
Man, you do it like really devoutly though. Pun superintendent.
I mean,
because you actually tweet when you're gonna do it and stuff. Even when I was doing it more, for the most part, it was very like himagure, like, oh, this stream is live, and I don't see anyone translating it, so maybe I will, translate a little.
Well, I mean, honestly, I haven't been able to do it as much lately. Just because my current volumes are really kicking my ass. But yeah, when I do it, I try to let people know, because there have been people who say like, I just watch whatever you TL. So I'm like,
wow,
okay. I mean, it's not it hurts to just like give advance notice. I've gone back, so I have a playlist of all the streams that I've translated.
Oh yeah, I had one, but it's much smaller, and I also stopped keeping track.
And the first one was Kiryu Koko's 3D debut.
Yappari.
Which
well, not
sense.
That one specifically, but I thought it might be her.
Which makes sense. Yeah. Kiryu Koko.
Actually,
yep.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized that this sort of brings me back to the first question, because initially I came up with the idea of Honey Melon because I was live translating and I was just using my actual name on YouTube because I didn't use YouTube for anything until I started commenting on VTuber streams, really. I didn't really watch much in the way of YouTuber live streams at all. And then Anime Girls.
Yay.
And then I felt really weird when I would be translating and everyone would be like, thanks, insert name here. Like my actual first name.
Right.
And also, maybe a non-issue for you, but people would very often be like, thanks, dude, or thanks, so translator-kun, or whatever, and I'm like, I'm a girl, but you're welcome. I guess there's still no girls on the internet in 2022 when we're all watching girls play games on the internet.
Of course not.
But,
all the girls are off doing their own thing, obviously.
Oh, definitely. But so part of the reason was I'm gonna come up with the cutest, girliest name so people will know I'm a girl when I'm translating, and also so they'll stop saying my name. Also, so that when I super chat, I won't get extreme dokies and fall out of my chair because they just said my real name. I mean, what? That didn't happen. It was Hanamakiya.
Oh, from Niji-sanji?
Yeah, I sent her a super chat, and well, even though my name is not much of a secret, I will just insert Honey here. But I sent her a chat, and she was like, "Oh my God, Honey! Oh, Honey! I appreciate you for existing." And I was like, my face was extremely red. I know it sounds really funny saying Honey because then it just sounds like,
a different thing. But yeah, but I understand.
Either way, I was like, I can't live like this.
My heart can't take it anymore. Right. So I just randomly started. Yep. And then now I'm really involved with the live TL and the MChat team, I guess. I'm sort of there. So.
Right.
You know about
it's really cool.
live TL, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically on the viewing side is what they use to watch to read all the translation lines. It's compiled into one thing, right? And this is really weird, but I keep talking about it to people, to you and to all my collab people, and I tweet about it. So now I think a lot of people think I own it or something, which is really, really weird because I don't know any programming whatsoever. But I'm just always happy to spread the word, basically.
Yeah, it's really cool. At some point when I was doing more live TL but not enough to know anything about how I was supposed to do it, eventually people were like, "Hey, can you slap these tags on there so we can actually see your translation?"
Right.
Like, yeah, that'd probably help.
I would imagine so. Yes. So, what have you done live TL for? Do you still do it?
Right. I was just checking. I kind of only do mostly what I would call spot live translation at this point. Either if someone's saying something very funny and or important and I don't see anyone else translating it and I'm watching it in the background while I'm doing something else, working. Not that I would do that. Who would do that? Then I'll stop and be like, okay, let me throw the English viewers some assistance here because this seems like something that they should hear.
I see.
And I'm a big fan of, I don't know if you know Kamomi Kamomi?
Not familiar.
She's an independent VTuber. She's more like, she calls herself a virtual artist.
Okay.
And she's been around for a long while, but she did merch for someone in Hololive recently. And I'm blanking because it's one of the girls I don't follow that much. Oh no. But she's got gorgeous art, but she doesn't have much of an English following, so when I'm watching her, sometimes I'll either translate if I see other like English-speaking people in chat, or sometimes I'll translate English comments like for her. To the point where at some point she was like, "Thanks for always translating," and then I died because anytime they acknowledge you, then it's over.
Yes.
I mean, it's great, but also I'm dead.
So you mainly translate for Komomi now, right?
Yeah, I used to do. Trying to find my playlist. I used to do some for like Iofi when she speaks Japanese. Like the Hollow ID Gen 1, I watch them a lot. And it's mostly just Iofi who speaks Japanese. Let's see. I did some for these are mostly just times that Iofi collabed with Japanese only speakers.
Fair enough.
And I have done Machida Chima a couple of times. And I watch a lot of Kurone, and I translate her streams on occasion, but at this point I think she's got a lot of translators, so.
Oh, does she?
I feel like it. I should actually use LiveTL more, because I'm like, technically I shouldn't need this, but also it's sometimes it's not bad, and it's like, educational to see how other people translated it. Or sometimes it's stressful because you're like, oh holy shit, that's not what she said at all.
Yeah.
Not that I've definitely fucked up before, because it's so different from like having a novel or a manga where you can just take your time.
Yeah,
you look at the dictionary,
so
you do some googling.
Yeah.
But they're already like 4 sentences ahead of you, and you're like, oh god, I don't know, I think it was something like this.
It's so
And then
different.
she keeps talking, and you're like, oh fuck, that is definitely not what she meant.
Would you say Korone speaks fast? I mean, she speaks very interestingly, so I imagine it's a pretty interesting experience.
A bit of both, yeah. She sometimes breaks out like the Hayaguchi and just starts talking very quickly. And then other times I'm like, I really didn't catch any of that.
Pain.
A lot more advice.
Yeah, a lot more advice.
Yeah.
So if you don't do like full, so you don't really do like full on translating much anymore. Like you don't like sit down for a stream and go like, for the entire hour I will be here and I'll just type everything.
No, I feel like I don't really have as much time, especially now that I'm also streaming myself, which is like the problem, because you start, or at least I started streaming just because I loved VTubers so much. And why not become the anime if you love the anime? But now I watch less VTubers than before because I have my own streams to deal with, and on top of that, now I have like my VTuber friends who I'm trying to watch, so I don't watch as much like Hololive. And those are like completely different experiences.
Right.
A chat with like a dozen people versus like 12,000 people.
Totally
you feel
different.
more like you should participate in a chat when that happens.
Yeah, that's the dilemma? Not dilemma. Forgot the word. But anyways, yeah. Alright, well.
The paradox, maybe?
Paradox, yes. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still got it.
Alright, well, let's move on. What do you like about being a translator? What do you not like so much?
I mean, I love being a translator. I feel like I need to emphasize that because I do complain a lot.
Wow.
But I really do love it.
It's very fun. You complain most about what you like most, right? That's how it is, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I like when it like kind of falls into place and you feel like you have a really good translation for a line.
Mm-hmm.
I still do a lot of like comedy, and I like sort of chewing on puns and trying to come up with a way that it's still funny in English and like still makes sense, but is still close to the original meaning.
That's like
and then I
above
leave
and
little
beyond.
notes explaining why I did that. And then sometimes they're like, we don't like that. But at least I tried.
Fair enough.
You know. What about you? What do you like about translating?
I mean, I just like translating in general, I guess. Like, so I really love the series I do. So it's just, you know, like I love the series and I want more people to love it too, I guess. But it's just, it's a weird thing where like when I do it, I do my best, obviously. But like afterwards, like I don't dare to go back and look at what I did before.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Oh, I don't want to look at that. Although actually, now that I think about it, so Nichijou was my first series, and recently, I still have to make them send me one. But recently, a box set came out, like an anniversary box set of the manga. I'm supposed to get one, and I didn't yet. I just remembered that, but that's okay. And they were like, "Hey, we're doing this, you know, we'll send you one." And I was like, "Can I fix some things if you're gonna reprint them all?" I'm like, not that I did anything wrong,
right?
But there are things.
Better.
There was basically just one joke that I really wanted another crack at.
I see.
But I was like, oh, this is a good chance to go through them and fix any glaring mistakes or just things that I could have done better.
Right.
And I was surprised that I didn't find as many things that I wanted to fix as I thought. And I think that's probably thanks to, you know, the editor more so than, oh, I've always been a genius. Probably.
It's the editor.
I think the editor changed a few times, but they were all like former translators themselves. So I'm guessing anything I did really either poorly or just like too far out of left field, maybe.
They corrected.
They made those better.
Fair enough. Like I still have trouble like understanding how like when people are like a lot of people buy the book, which means a lot of people are like they like the series, but I'm just thinking like you like the series even though I did it. Like it's a bit like I mean,
it's because you did it, maybe.
I guess I don't know. It's a bit weird because I like I don't really like face like the fans all that much. There's almost none of that, right? So all I know is just me being in front of the computer and just wrestling with the passages day in and day out, right? So I do my best, but I churn it out and then people like it and I'm like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's true. And maybe that's a thing to not like so much, is that you don't get a lot in the way of feedback. It really is just you flapping out words and then sending them in, and then
that's true.
It's like you sent a child out into the world that you never check in on and never hear from again, and you're like, well, I hope that kid turned out okay, because
do you get to go converse with the editor, like have a back and forth about like passages that are sort of like in contest, or I mean, I wouldn't say
sometimes.
In contest, but
and I would say more so now than there used to be, because I feel like there have been times where I wasn't sure about something and they just, make an executive decision, which is fine. But there are more times now when editors will be like, will actually like consult me about something they're not sure about. And I think I've also gotten better at leaving notes to be like, hey, I'm not sure about this line for these reasons, and please email me if you have an opinion or follow-up questions. Also, I started working with Kaiten books on the Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting, which is the one I'm always going to plug because that company is run by someone who also was a freelance translator.
Oh, wow.
And so everyone like in the process all talks to each other.
Right.
And there's actually like back and forth. And it's so, I feel like the end product is so much better and I'm like more confident in it because I actually got to see the changes.
Right.
And you know, I'm working with a pretty cool editor.
Shout out to the editor.
Hi, dude. But yeah, so I'm like, man, why is it not more like this? So I try to, you know, I've tried on my end to be more like, hey, we can talk about this if like, you know, like
if there's something to be changed.
Yeah. Like, for instance, if you changed a term 5 volumes ago and I never knew until I would happen to look at one of my comps, I feel like someone on the other end, and it was a better term than the one that I was using. I was like, oh, this is brilliant. Why didn't you just tell me?
Exactly.
Why did you have somebody, like, having to Control F fix all of these? Right. And probably hating me for not using the right term, but I didn't know. So, you know, it'd be nice if there was less of that.
I mean, like the work process at JNC is a lot better from what I hear from you. Cause like I would finish like a part, like a light novel. It's the same for manga too. I finish it, and then I have to submit it to JNC. But I also give it to the editor, and then the editor, it's a Google Doc, right? And the editor does her changes on the Google Doc, and it's all suggestions. So then after she's done, then she submits a copy to JNC, but then she gives it back to me, and I'm the one who has to click like yes to all the changes that she made. So if there's one that I go like maybe not do it like this, maybe there's something else, then I can just put it like a comment to the change, and then after that then I give it back to her, and then we can go on Discord and talk about things.
Yeah, Kaiten is the only publisher I work with that really works like that.
I see.
Nobody else that I can think of. And this is not to, you know, throw shade at the other publishers or anything, but I don't think there's any other publisher that actually sends the edits back and is like, what do you think? And maybe they just assume we don't have time to check them over, which is like, you know, not wrong, but I would honestly rather take a couple extra hours to look it over and feel confident that you're putting my name on something that people aren't gonna be like, hey, this is mistranslated, and I'm like, it wasn't.
I mean, I feel like I consider it part of their job, I guess, just going over the editor's edits, right? And
yeah.
It used to take me so long because I used to be so bad at it. Like, I mean, I'm still bad at it. Like the editor is it's the editor who keeps me from feeling like I know everything, because every time a part comes back to me, which is like an 1/8 of a book or a 1/10 of a book, there are like 200 changes or like 300 and it's all like grammar stuff and like other like sort of like way better ways to word things, and sometimes I'm too like my translation is too Japanesey, and I didn't recognize it because I was in the mindset, and it comes back and just like 200-300 changes, and I'm like, you know what, like my English sucks. That's
I mean, I'm sure that's not true, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
On the occasions that I do get feedback, I'm like, oh, yeah, yikes.
Yeah. But yeah.
Or sometimes they'll be really kind and be like, hey, is there a reason that you did this like this? And I'm like, no, I'm just an idiot. And I don't know how to read.
I've had that before. I'm like, I'm sorry, I read this
but
wrong.
Thank you for thinking that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, she's got a galaxy brain reason for this. And I'm like, I really don't.
How nice of them to give us the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's that.
But I know.
Yeah, that's a good way to have a relationship, I suppose. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move on, I suppose.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of reading and writing outside of the job? That's a pretty interesting question.
Yeah. I try to.
Mm-hmm.
I try to read a lot of books in English. Just so my English doesn't get bad, because it is easy to forget, especially when you either are just always translating or reading stuff in translation. It's easy to forget what English is supposed to sound like.
Yes.
So I try to read from a bunch of other genres.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, oh yeah, and then sometimes I pick up like fun words or something, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna use that.
Right. Yeah. I totally get that. Like, I myself don't really have time to read anymore. So I have like small windows of time where during like my lunch hours and my like dinner hours, like I would buy takeout, right, and I'll go down and get it myself, because that's my excuse of an exercise.
Oh yeah.
So when I'm walking, then I have time. I have a bit of time to read on my phone. So when
you don't like walk into polls and things?
No, I don't. I've been doing this since elementary school. It's totally fine. I've got like double vision. I can see the thing and I can see the road. That's totally fine. So when the Wheel of Time TV show started on Amazon, and so Wheel of Time is like one of my favorite series ever.
Oh, I have to reread those.
And so I
definitely read them like as a kid, but
yeah, they're so good. And so I picked up like volume 1 again, and I was reading that, and when I was reading it, I was like, oh wow, this like I had forgotten a lot of English. So I very much enjoyed that. Like I did like a sort of like a thing on Twitter where I was like, here are like passages that I see in the Wheel of Time, the text, where I can sort of think where you can apply sort of like this way of saying things to the certain sort of like Japanese phrases or Japanese words, things like that. Spot a lot of interesting things. But then I finished volume 1, and now I'm back to reading like the latest chapter of the series that I'm doing.
Erai ne.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
like that's one thing that I'm really super thankful for, is that all the light novel series that I've done so far and that I'm doing right now, they're all on Shousetsu Kani Naro, and they're all like all the way there in the future, right? So I can read those, and they give me so much context for the things I translate now.
God, that's probably what I should be doing instead of reading books. I'm just out here like, I guess I'll go on the like Netabare sites and hope that somebody really thoroughly explained this foreshadowing.
Oh. I read them all, and like especially for this series I'm doing called Hell Mode, where like the main character is like a summoner, so he can summon like a variety of different summons, right? And they're all like ranked like A, like ranked from like G to rank S, and then like they're like different kinds. So they're like birds, they're like beasts, they're like insects, whatever. So there are a lot of summons. So I read all the way to the latest chapter, and I just before I started the series, I made like a table of all of them, because then I can sort of like understand like what kind of names they're gonna get, so I know that I don't double up on the names and like the ability names.
Oh my god.
And all that. So I don't have to double up. So that's a huge help, I think. And
that's really smart.
And I'm really, really thankful that I've been able to do this for all the series I do. But
yeah, I feel like I either haven't had time or like it's not out, especially for manga. That's just like totally out.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I feel like people are always like, oh man, you read Japanese? You must like read all the latest manga before it's out in English. And I'm like, I super don't.
Well, not for manga.
That just feels like work.
Fair enough.
I have no clue what's coming out or anything that's happening.
I see.
I'm just randomly reading. Recently, I read a romance novel. Actually, it's fun.
That's nice.
But yeah, I feel like no matter what you're using your precious spare time on, it's always like, I read some of this, but I should really be reading this, or the other way around. And then also, like, sometimes I just want to play Pokemon for several hours. But technically, that's also research for work, because it's translated.
Yeah. Do you do this thing where, like, when you play Japanese games and then you, like, look at the translation and if there's, like, a good one, you write it down?
I should write it down. I definitely love doing stuff with like Japanese voices and English text and being like, oh, or like, that's an interesting choice.
It is.
But it's a recurring theme that I don't have the foresight to actually write things down because I inexplicably trust my memory despite 301 years of experience that should tell me otherwise.
I mean, then again, I write stuff down, but I don't go back and review them, so it's not much better.
Yeah, but I mean, they say that just writing something down helps you remember it, right? I think. I tell myself that. I don't know.
I guess, maybe. No, like, so I have like a personal glossary of like just like ways to translate things, but like, so I can control F it, right? But the thing is, I don't remember that there's an entry. I don't remember to check it.
Oh, that's so smart in theory, though. I'm not even there. I don't even. This is bad. This is a bad translator confession. I don't even usually keep term sheets unless I have to. And then every time I'm like, oh god, I should have kept a term sheet for this series. But then I'm like, well, I'm already this many volumes in. And then the next volume, I'm like, I should have just started a fucking term sheet so I would remember this character's name.
Right, character names.
Luckily I only do light novels for Yen Press, and they like ask you to keep a term sheet. Because I would be in real trouble if I was trying to do light novels without a term sheet.
Yeah.
But even for manga, there are times I just, spend 80% of my life control effing through my previous scripts. Like, oh, come on. What did I call this?
Especially like the names of moves, right? Like attacks.
Yeah, there was one move in like volume 1 of Dragon Maid, I think, that I thought was just like a one-off joke, and now they just like use it all the time.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, I would have thought a little harder about that one. It's not like wrong, but I'm like, it's a little awkward.
Right.
And no.
All right, well, moving on. Okay, let's talk about us as streamers. What do you stream? How did you start? And how have things changed since?
そうですね。
Okay,
let's see.
Let's start the first one. What do you stream?
These days I stream. I've been doing more work streams lately. I usually do like one art stream and one game stream a week. That's about all I can reliably commit to.
Right.
And then last month I did only art streams and no games.
So what is a work stream?
Yeah, so at first I was just doing Pomodoro Fridays where I'd stream working for a couple hours.
And what does Pomodoro
and I'll like
mean?
Oh, so Pomodoro is a like productivity method. It's from the Italian word for tomato, because like the kitchen timers that are shaped like tomatoes. So you set a timer for 25 minutes and you're supposed to focus on work continuously for 25 minutes. And then at the end you take a 5-minute break, and then you repeat that a couple times, and then I think every like 4 sessions you take an hour or a half hour or something. I don't know. I don't keep to the break timing as closely as probably I should, but
do you not set like a
for me I do like a 5-10 minute break in between, and then I take like one long lunch break in the middle of the day.
I see.
But so I don't show my work on screen because I don't know if either publisher would like that.
Right.
So I've just got me and the timer, and I have a very like clicky keyboard. So I think it's just kind of like a background thing.
Right.
And I have at least a handful of people who will come in and like work on something of their own at the same time.
Oh, all right. That's nice.
Yeah, so that's been nice. So I've been doing that. I was just doing it Fridays, but lately I've been doing it a couple times a week. Because it's also been good for me if it's like 11 a.m. and I'm like, shit, I have done almost no work. Like, I gotta do it. Then if I'm streaming, like, if I get up and leave, then my model will reflect that. So it keeps me a little more accountable.
Right.
You do some work streams too, right?
I actually do. I'm surprised you know. I don't tell anyone. I never announce them. Cause I'm very, very bad with like procrastinating, and like I like when I get into a YouTube spiral, then I just like lose hours, and I'm just like this cannot be. This cannot happen. So one thing that I've started recently is I go on Twitch, and I literally schedule my work hours, and like so that sort of keeps me accountable, even though like no one watches it. I mean that's it's more for me than for anything. So I would schedule it, and I make sure I start work at the correct time. And because I'm streaming, so I can't click on YouTube videos because then the sound would come through, right?
Oh, smart.
Yeah, so that prevents me from YouTubing. That so I can't step away. I mean I step away, but then I put like a BRB, but then I would know that I'd have to come back, right? And and so yeah, it's very, very helpful. So I've been thinking about like doing it more. It's just more of a me thing.
Yeah, I've seen you like mysteriously going live with no description, and I'm like, what are you up to?
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh, working. Oh, I should be working also. Which is why I have yet to actually like come say hi, because I'm like, shit, I should work.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I almost
but
never
don't you
check.
Also do like your Let's Translate type of videos on YouTube?
Yes, that's something that I actually do actively. So that's there's a long story behind that. So like I used to be a fan translator before I went official, right? And so I picked up like a series that I thought was really good, and then I had just started it. I've just done like 1 or 2 releases, and then I went and then the talks went of me becoming official, and then
that's so cool.
And then Sam, the owner of JNC, asked like, are there any series that you want us to pick up? And I mentioned this one among others.
Oh.
And he was like, okay, we can pick this one up.
That's the question every translator longs to hear.
I know, right? I was so touched. I was like, oh my god, he actually...
That's great.
That's amazing. And he actually got the series. So then I did it officially. So that was
That's great.
Amazing. But then it ended at volume 2. It got cut.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And then the rest was on Shousetsu. And I was actually finished it. and
wow.
there's like 8 volumes of it basically. So then like a while afterwards, I went to the author and I'm like, I really like your series. I really want to continue it. I mean, there's no money or anything involved. I'll be doing it as a fan translation, so the quality might be a bit lower because I don't have a proper editor, and I might do it on stream. Is that okay? And he's like, sure, totally fine. So
nice.
So because I have proper permission for that, so then I do this on stream, and while I translate it on stream, then I try to sort of explain Japanese grammar things and sort of like why you don't want to be very literal with your translation, for example. Things like that.
Whatever do you mean?
Localization.
That's cool though. I always wondered because I've seen some of those streams, but I never quite caught that they were a fan translation. So I was like, is that like through on the level with J-Novel or whomever?
Yeah.
And they are cool.
Yeah, no, it's a fan translation. Yeah.
I do know that some of the editors that I work with like are into VTubers, and I've briefly been considered like, hey, maybe I should tell them that I'm doing this. But then sometimes I don't like save the archives of my work streams. But I do talk to myself when I'm working, and there are times when I like, there are times where either the protagonist is just being ridiculous or like they use the same word so many times in so few sentences, and I'm just like like low-key bad-mouthing it, and I'm like, maybe I should never tell anyone just in case.
I say a lot of weird things when I work too, like grunts of pain sometimes, or just going like, I don't understand
out of love. Yeah, just today I'm working on a Death March volume. I mean, I'm working on a volume of something, and there's like an ongoing mystery with like really obvious clues, and the protagonist keeps being like, well, this seems like it could be connected to this, but I can't jump to conclusions just because of that. And I'm like, yes, you can. It's volume 17. It always turns out to be that guy. You're supposed to be some super smart programmer or whatever.
Right.
Come
on. Totally understandable.
It's out of love.
Do you
Definitely.
do that thing where like you read lines out loud to see how they sound?
Yeah, sometimes. Actually, more often I've noticed, or I don't know if I always did it or if I just only notice now because I'm streaming, but sometimes I like read aloud to myself as I'm like translating. And it is actually helpful because, again, sometimes I feel like it's more acceptable in Japanese to use the same word over and over, but then in English it sounds like you like have never seen a dictionary in your life. So
yes.
I'll be like reading it aloud, and I'll be like, then he drew the sword, and he put the sword in the then he put the blade.
Right.
Or whatever.
Especially during action scenes. Because in Japanese sometimes they don't need the subject. They can get away with not naming the subject.
Oh my god. Here's the number one thing that I hate about translating. How many are there of the thing? Is this singular or plural? Just tell me.
Oh, yes.
Just tell me how many rats there were. Don't tell me in 5 pages so I have to go back, because I always guess wrong.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That reminds me of like, do you know who's Steiner? So
yeah, Steiner.
Yeah, Steiner mentioned that he wants.
Everyone knows Steiner.
Awesome. The guy who keeps hurting himself accidentally.
Oh my god. Didn't he get a knife set recently or something?
He did.
Everyone on Twitter was like, oh my god, dude.
Please be careful.
Please be careful.
So he talked about this time when he was doing this translation, and he thought there was this one character, but it turns out there were two characters who were like twins or something. And they were like saying each other's things and they were doing the same things, but they're two actual characters. And there was no way he would have known unless like he actually asked the Japanese side to contact the author.
Man, that's another... I mean, I don't know if you maybe get to contact the authors through J-Novel Club a little more or not?
Not as much. Though I do have one of the authors of... I do have the author of Hell Mode on Twitter. I can just DM him. I don't do it as
I've
much.
actually had some publishers like discourage translators from doing that because they're like, it can cause issues if like the translator directly DMs the creator and then the creator like tells their editor like, oh, this person like messaged me, and then it can like supposedly it can be a problem. But I'm like, sometimes I just really want to know the like number or gender or something of this this character, and it would be so easy.
Right, totally. Especially the gender, like
yeah.
Again, going.
I mean, I'm a proponent. All right. I'm in favor of singular they, but I do feel that it's awkward if like you're supposed to know the gender of the character and you just don't. So I do still spend a lot of time dancing around pronouns.
Right, yeah.
There's this character in, again, some series that I work on that, like, I know that this character is going to turn out to be a girl. I don't know if I don't think the protagonist knows.
Oh.
But I don't know if everybody else knows or not.
Right, the gender
because it's like a famous hero, and it's like, oh, the great king, and I'm like, the king's a girl.
Right.
Do you know this? And I think finally, just last volume, they were like, heh, I wonder if the king was actually a girl dressed up as a man or something. And I'm like, yes. Wait, so you don't know? Shit.
Yeah, that totally is the whole thing. That's a whole thing. Yeah. Like a little bit down the road, they're like, that person was a girl.
Yeah. So I feel like I've learned to be very careful about specifying either gender or numbers if I can help it, but you kind of can't help that in English.
Yeah, no, you can't. No, yeah.
God, whose idea was it for that to be ambiguous? Please just put the letter S in Japanese.
Put the letter S in Japanese.
Just everything else is the same, and just put an S after it if there's more than one. Can we institute that?
It would be like Japanese and English. It would be like the new frontier of Wasei-eigo. Just adding just the letter
S. Sign my change.org petition to add the letter S to Japanese.
Petition Japanese government. Please add an S into your language, please.
Like, they have one, they just don't use it. They're just like, yeah, I could put a tachi here, and then you would know for sure that it's a group, but
no.
Where's the fun in that?
Exactly. Okay, so you also do art streams, so that's you just draw and talk while doing it, right?
Yeah, last year I tried to challenge myself to do a Melon related illustration every month. And I actually managed to finish that and made a whole little calendar thing, which maybe I should have sent the link for, but
that's
it's
nice.
Somewhere. Yeah, it was very fun and informative, and also I'm probably not going to do it again this year. Just because I was like, okay, I want to draw something else now. But
fair enough. What are you going to draw this year?
It was fun.
Or is it a secret?
I don't know. I get to draw whatever I want now, so I might just draw random, like, either fan art or, like, I don't know. Ina did a stream a while ago where she just drew a bunch of shibis and, like, thumbnails, and I thought that was a smart idea.
Okay.
Even though I technically don't need thumbnails for Twitch. Oh god, I just need them for my YouTube archive that I haven't updated in, like, Let's not check. I don't want to know. I meant to do it before this because I was like, I should have a relatively active YouTube archive if I'm going to do a thing on YouTube. But I just haven't gotten to it.
Right.
I've been thinking of doing a work stream specifically to be like, please help me clean up my YouTube archive of like thumbnail-less VODs.
Well, I mean, it's mainly just download and upload, is it? I mean, I'm not sure of how it works.
Yeah, so like you can very easily export VODs from Twitch to YouTube, but then you still have to, and I could just have them like just go up directly like that, but I feel like I should add thumbnails and descriptions and stuff. And so they just sit there like unlisted, piling up forever.
It's never good to have things pile up. It just gets bigger and bigger. So when did you debut again? When was your start?
Right. I started in sort of informally streaming around this time last year.
February. Around.
I posted like an intro video on February 2nd. And then I did like a formal debut stream on March 25th. So coming up on 1 year.
Oh.
Technically, I've already been streaming for a year, but my first few streams were like private on YouTube.
Right.
And then I switched to Twitch at some point, partly because you don't have to schedule things in advance or make thumbnails. It was really just a matter of laziness. Also, I think OBS has better YouTube integration now, but when I was doing it, you had to like manually put the stream key into OBS each time.
Did you?
Didn't you?
Wow.
Unless I'm just a fool.
I mean, I don't know,
but I feel like that was the case.
I use Streamlabs OBS. I've been thinking of changing over to OBS, but I'm still using Streamlabs right now, so.
Yeah, I like the regular OBS. I've heard that Blobs, which first of all is a terrible, a very unfortunate acronym. Not just for shame, but for Twitch, you really just have to give a description if you feel like it and hit the go live button. So.
Yeah, it's been so easy. Like the way I've done it is like I have like Streamlabs for streaming to YouTube, and then I have OBS for streaming to Twitch, because the Twitch one is just nothing, and I don't leave archives anyways. So it's so easy because I just press the go live button, and it doesn't. There's no pop-up window. There's nothing. I'm just live.
Oh, you know what I was thinking of?
Yeah.
For the YouTube chat. I feel like you had to update the URL for like the browser source for the YouTube chat for each individual stream.
Wow. I see.
Maybe I'm just like technologically illiterate. Although I have heard that they fixed their integration. Anyway, this is all very hyper specific streamer problems, but I do miss YouTube sometimes.
I see. I mean, like when
it is, we're VTubers, not VTwitchers.
I mean, yeah, that's one thing that I see. Like, why do they still call them VTubers when they're on Twitch? But I feel like
it sounds worse, is why.
The term's already just定着した. Right?
Yeah, I feel like there's VTubers who just use like TikTok or something now.
Do they? They even do that?
I don't know. I'm old. I don't know what have TikTok. But
I'm old too. I don't know anything about that.
When did you start streaming?
I started streaming around the end of 2020.
Oh.
Yeah, because I quit my full-time job at the end, and then I just started streaming, I guess. Wow, because I quit my full-time job to work on translating full-time. So then I also started streaming just every once in a while. Like at the start, I was only doing my translation streams, and it's only been sort of recently that I started feeling more like a VTuber. It's a weird thing because like I feel like I'm more of a translator than a VTuber. I'm like a translator who streams. It's sort of how I feel about myself. Not so much that I'm a VTuber who translates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I mean, I've been a translator for around 5 years, maybe even 6.
6 years.
So it predates, and VTubing was more like, see if I can squeeze this in.
Right.
And at first nope, lost what I was saying. Oh, at first I wanted to lean away from being like a translator and VTuber because I was like, I don't want this to also be work, but I do still love my work, so I end up talking about it anyway.
Right. I mean, I mean, it is a big part of your life, so you can't not talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I guess that would be my how things have changed since. It's the sort of the way I approach it, or sort of like I mean, like I do a lot more different things now. Like I do like I have my translation stream, and then I have like game streams. I used to only do like one game stream and like a piano practice stream each week.
Nice.
But I sort of stopped playing the piano because I didn't have time. And like the past month or so I've been really tight on time. So I haven't been doing the translation streams either. But I have been keeping up the game streams because that's sort of like my only source of like relief, because I'm literally working every other waking moment.
Yeah, part of my reasoning for starting streaming was like, well, then I can play some of the games in my Steam backlog. And I actually got a PC, like a proper desktop PC, pretty much for the first time. Around the end of 2020. Partly so that I could do streaming, and also, because it's nice to have a functional computer. I was just working off of laptops.
Was the screen really small?
I have kind of large, chunky laptops.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, no, it definitely feels more legit, I guess, to be working on a computer. Now I can play real games.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, have you depleted? Has your Steam library sort of gone down, or is it still going up anyways?
Like, not even a little bit. Oh, it's so bad. I feel like I've slipped on game streams, and then I only do them once a week, so if I want to actually complete a game, it takes me forever.
It does. I totally understand.
I should probably go back to either playing shorter games or games that I don't have to. When I first started, I did like some gacha game streams and stuff, but I kind of stopped playing them because I didn't have time. This is the running theme of the VTranslator.
No time.
But then I stopped because I didn't have time.
Right. Yeah.
So if anything, lately I've been doing the work streams because then I can stream more and like integrate it into my work, which is not what my original intent was, but it's also, I don't know, it makes working a little more fun.
Fair enough.
And that's like the Soreshikanai. Like, I don't have any other time to stream more except when I'm literally working.
Shoganai.
Yeah, it can't be helped.
Indeed. I had a question I wanted to ask, have you ever done like a special sort of stream that you've really, really prepared for and like you really, really like? Has that ever been a thing?
I mean, aside from my debut, I've done like 3 karaoke streams, like
Mm-hmm.
ever. Like in the past year, I think I've done 3,
Mm-hmm.
which wasn't necessarily something I saw myself doing, but it always seems really fun when I watch other VTubers do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's annoy the neighbors. And I feel like those are the most preparation, but also they're really fun.
They are fun. Like, do you have to like practice?
Yeah.
Do you practice a lot beforehand?
I kind of practice a little bit beforehand, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I definitely have plenty of songs that I feel like I know off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
But after the first one, like, especially with like Anisan toka,
Mm-hmm.
like anime openings and endings, like, you know the first minute and 15 seconds by heart.
Right.
And then and you maybe know the second verse. But then sometimes around like the 3-minute mark, it gets
Right.
really weird, and you're like, wait,
Yeah, the
I don't know
bridge.
this part.
Yeah,
Where did the melody go?
yeah.
Why is this like a reggae song all of a sudden? What's happening?
Yeah, it does that.
There's a Love Life song that's like that.
And sometimes like I only like know like the first line, so I have to like go back to learn the songs. I've only
miss your cue.
I've only ever done one karaoke stream, and I practiced like
I should do more.
so much for it. No, because I'm very bad at. I wouldn't say I'm very bad at singing. I'm very bad at remembering pitches. So I remember pitches sort of by intervals, right? So instead of the actual pitch. So if I start on the wrong pitch, then the entire thing is off, and I can't bring myself back. I don't know how to bring myself back. I can't do that. And also
Oh, I know what you mean, yeah.
And I'm also not good at remembering lyrics. So the one that I did, I practiced for like 4 months, I think.
That's dedication.
I mean, I like singing.
I feel like I'm okay at remembering lyrics, but I don't think I'm a very good singer. But I honestly, this is gonna sound so mean, but like, Karana is my Oshi. Like, I don't think she's necessarily an awesome singer. I don't think she's a bad singer. I'm not saying that. But I think that it's still really fun to watch her sing because she's just like having so much fun.
Right.
That's how I feel about her in general. Like, even if she's not good at what she's doing, she's having like an amazing time and like laughing the whole time. I was like, oh, I want to be like that. And then I'm not really like that when I stream. I'm usually just tired.
But yeah, I mean, Conan has a lot of energy, like, and she does like those like marathon streams.
Yeah, she'll stream for like 8 hours and up, and just be like, yeah, that's fun. Let's do it tomorrow.
Yeah, and she maintains her energy throughout, and I'm like, how? How? I stream for 4 hours.
And even when she plays like
out.
Pokemon Snap or something, she's like screaming, like something totally passive. I don't know. I love it. But yeah, I also Oh, that's right. I've done one like marathon stream. It was like 6 hours, I think, and that was like the max for me.
Oh, what did you do for that stream?
I did a bunch of different stuff. What did I do? I'm literally gonna look. Have you ever done any? Besides, I mean, 4 months of prep for karaoke is pretty good.
I mean, that's literally the biggest one that I've done. Cause it was a weird one. When at first I was just gonna do like Annie songs, but then somewhere along the way I got it in my head to make this like a weird one where it was like 1 hour long. And like all the songs were different languages.
How many different languages do you speak?
I mean, I only really speak English, Japanese, and Cantonese. Only really 3. So
I mean, 3 is still impressive.
It's only one more than what I need as a translator.
I mean,
But yeah, so I went to like Google, not Google. I went to like YouTube like tutorials and stuff for like how to pronounce all this stuff. I watch other people singing it, and I tried to copy the sounds and stuff.
So you just like gave yourself a ton of work for.
Apparently, yeah.
I'm not gonna say no reason.
It was fun though. For example, like I don't know German, but then I want to sing some German songs because anime has a lot of German songs. So I picked one from Girls and Panzer. And also I picked the one from Kill la Kill.
Yeah.
And then
I guess I could do the Russian song from Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one. I chose the Russian one from Girls and Panzer because it's like the tank songs are really fun because they're really upbeat, right? And I get to sing like I'm in the Red Army or something. I'm like yeah. And
that does sound fun.
And then I sort of sang like troll songs from sort of when I was younger, like for example the Numa song. I don't know. Do you know?
Oh my gosh! Of course I know that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know the words.
Right.
I can barely remember what language I was in.
Romanian.
Huh.
And then I sang the Trollolo song, which is technically Russian, but not really Russian because there are no words in it.
Oh, well.
So yeah, that was my biggest one. It was fun.
I somehow ended up, when I started making friends with a bunch of VTubers, like Finnish VTubers. So they've done like Levin Polka on their karaoke streams. But apparently that's hard even if you're a native speaker.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I also went with like the Miku one, what do you call da 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 da.
Yeah, that's the one, the leak spin one.
Yeah, like, the leak spin one. Yeah,
definitely not beating ourselves at all right now.
Yeah. I went with the full song.
I don't know what TikTok is. I only know leak spin.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think that song's in Finnish. So I was like, oh shit, you guys can sing this. And they're like, kind of.
The tongue rolling. Do you know how to roll your tongue?
Tongue rolling, no. I studied Russian in high school.
Oh, okay.
But my biggest weakness was that I can't roll my R's.
Me neither. I mean, I can sort of do it, but I can't do it as part of a word.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's fun to do it though.
That's like people are always like, man, Japanese is so hard. I'm like, yeah, but I can at least make all the sounds.
Yes. Until they roll their R's in Japanese also.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do that, right? For effect.
Yeah, then I'm out.
Yeah.
Or if I have to do like tone stuff. Let's not talk about that.
So going back to your 6-hour stream, what did you do?
Oh yeah, I did a Melon product tier list, a thing where you pick Pokemon until it tells you what your favorite Pokemon are.
Okay.
I want to say I played Melon Journey. It's like a cute little indie game that obviously I had to play like as a Melon VTuber. Obviously. So I had like a bunch of little activities and I took short breaks in between.
I see.
It's especially hard to imagine just playing the same game for like,
I don't
know, like 8 hours or something. I can play like Animal Crossing for a really long time, but
okay,
like dream it and be entertaining at the same time, I'm not so sure.
And that's true. Fair enough. Sort of another sort of big thing that I did that I'm really proud of, but obviously I had a lot of help. It's more of a translator thing where like Hololive had like a sports festival last year, and they had a total of 7 streams, right? Like because there were 7 teams. And when there were 6 teams, and then there was like an MC perspective, so there are 7 streams, and I went and organized like translators, real-time translators, and I filled up all of the streams for all of the hours.
Oh my goodness. That is really cool.
That was really fun. Yeah. Like 2 of the streams were English streams, so like we had Spanish translators for those streams.
What? I was just like, oh, so you didn't have to do anything. That's amazing.
So I translated the MC stream, and then like other people translated the other ones. So that was really, it was big fun. But I had a lot of help, especially with the setting up and things like that.
Still, but organizing something that big is such a task in itself.
Yeah.
And I feel like live translation takes a level of focus that I don't always have.
I mean,
you can, I don't know. What if you need to like go to the bathroom or something? I assume you just do. Unless you take your phone with you. I'm not going to judge.
No, I actually haven't ever had to step away to go to the bathroom while translating. But that's also partly because I usually only do like 1-hour translations. I rarely do more.
Right.
Just because I don't have time. But that sports day one, they had like a break in the middle, exactly when I wanted to go to the toilet, so I just lined up perfectly. Yeah, but usually when I'm doing live translation, I just lose myself. It's a state of zen, frustrated zen sometimes, because I'm like, how do I do this one? But I do. It's everything just falls away.
That's so cool. This is making me miss it, but I also feel like I don't have time. I've got 2 deadlines this month on the same day, because why not? I'll be fine. It's one of those situations, they're like 2 weeks away, and I'm like, as long as I stay on quota, I'll be fine. But at the same time, knowing that if you have like a bad day, it's gonna like
screw everything up,
kind of fuck you up for the next 2 weeks. I feel like that in itself creates extra pressure that makes it harder not to have a bad day.
The more pressure I am under, the more I feel like procrastinating.
Yeah, I know people who are like, oh, I work better under pressure. Like, I wait to start it until like 2 days before or something. Well, hopefully not for a full book, but I'm like, I do not. Maybe like in school, like for an essay, I would do that. But when it's a giant book that I have to translate all of to continue having a job, I'm like, I'm gonna chip away at this one.
You would have to. I can't imagine translating a whole book in 2 days. No. No.
The only way I can see that, all right. So I think the shortest amount of time, and stay with me, the shortest amount of time I've ever done a full manga volume in was 4 days. But it was like an adaptation of a light novel that I had already translated. So it wasn't like from scratch. I either like was able to copy paste some lines or like check back and forth with my light novel script. So it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, that's always great. Like so the only manga that I do is Black Summoner, which I also do the light novel for. And a light novel is like light years ahead of the manga, right? Obviously. So by the time I get to the manga, like sometimes I can go back to the light novel and just copy lines over, and it's great because the light novel lines are the editor's already seen them, so they're like nice lines, right? Sometimes I go back and check the light novel and I'm like, oh, that's a nice way of putting it. I don't remember doing that.
Oh, I wish maybe I should like ask for mine. Other than that's admitting that I'm just sourcing it from the novel, but like, what else would I be doing?
Well, it makes sense to do that. I mean, it's a good thing to do that.
Because I'm just going back to my like raw translation that I sent in, so I do usually end up like kind of editing them to make it snappier, and like to fit in the bubbles.
Of course, yeah.
And also, like you said, because the manga is or like the light novel is usually so far ahead. Sometimes it's like, well, I translated this 2 years ago, and now I can think of a better way to make that sound cool.
Nice.
And then I'm like, damn it.
That's good.
Or
That's
worse, it's like, oh, this was, not gonna say wrong, but it's not good. But then hopefully sometimes I'm like, oh shit, that is wrong. And then I check my book and I'm like, oh, the editor caught it. Thank you. Thank you for my life.
That's good. Do they?
But I don't even find out until like that moment.
Do they send you comp copies like ebooks or like physical or?
They send me physical books. I've got my bookshelves are in paint.
That's nice.
Yeah, but now that I think about it, ebooks would be convenient because then I could actually like
Control
search
F.
them for things.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like JNC is mainly a digital publisher, so that's
Right.
why like, they don't actually print it. They only print the really popular ones. So. So when it's done, it's still in ebook form. So then they just send it over,
Right.
and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, that would make it easier.
Yeah. And I do make the effort to keep a glossary for each series, but sometimes I just forget to put things into the glossary, and I'm like, how did I translate
Yeah.
this?
Oh, every time that you're like, I'm sure this character or move or whatever will never come up again.
Yep, but they do.
Like 3 volumes later, it's like, hey, remember that guy that we saw on the street that one time?
He's
And
important.
I'm like, no, I don't. I gave him a dumb name because I thought I'd never see him again.
Yes. It turns out he's important, and this is foreshadowing.
Yeah. Oh, the suffering. I just messaged my editor the other day because I was like, hey, did this? Oh, that's something else with physical books because I have to be like, did this go to print yet? Because I need to change something.
No, I see.
Most of the time it's like, it's not like a terrible error, but if anyone's reading it really closely, they'll be like, hey, this was the foreshadowing in the previous book implied that this character was that person, but really it was that, because I had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm really glad that I get to read ahead for. Yeah. I had like a character introduced as this this assassin, so you don't know if it's a guy, if it's a girl. It's just all shouted in mystery, and the text isn't using any pronouns, isn't doing anything. But because I read ahead, I was like, it's this character, so then I know how to sort of work around it and stuff like that.
Yeah. Reading ahead.
I mean, I like my series. So honestly, I'm just excited to find what happens next. Honestly.
I did actually. So I've translated 14 volumes of So I'm a Spider, So What. And
it gets weird. She
it's
turns into a god.
super weird and super good. But volume 16 just came out, and that's the last one. So I actually they put out special editions of 15 and 16, so I ordered them. And I'm like, oh shit, I could read ahead. Nice. I can actually. There's only 2 volumes left, but 1, I genuinely really want to know what happens. And 2, that way if there's any foreshadowing, at least in 15, then I'll know what happens in 16.
Right. Yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah.
I'd really like the anime.
I'm gonna start reading those.
The anime was really good.
The anime, I feel like the hardcore light novel fans were not necessarily that into it.
Oh, really?
Because the pacing was weird, and occasionally there were some quappy or like 3D animation or whatnot.
I see.
I loved it. I mean, Aoyuki was so amazing as Kumiko. And honestly, I'm always happy when something I work on gets an anime adaptation. I'm like, I'm not a terribly critical person to begin with, but especially when it's like these characters that you've spent hours,
days, months, years.
Yeah.
Translating.
Like, it kind of feels like you know them. not as well as like the creators, but
right.
probably better than most fans.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, oh, there they are. They're talking and they're moving. Do any of your books have anime yet?
No, none.
I'm sure it'll happen.
I hope so. I mean, that's sort of how I feel like going from the light novel to the manga, at least. Because, like, there they are. That's the battle scene. There they are.
Too.
Doing that thing. The move thing. Yeah!
Yeah. But even when I actually, like, was doing Dragon Maid before the anime, and I felt like I didn't really know anyone else who read it, and so when, first of all, Kyoani, my favorite studio, adapted it, I was like, oh man, everyone's gonna know about my daughters. And I'm gonna get merch. That's the other
nice.
And then my wallet's gonna be in danger, but it's worth it.
It's worth it. Which is your favorite dragon?
Oh, I don't know. I almost want to say Toru, even though I feel like that is the most obvious answer. I also really like Kobayashi, even though she's not a dragon. I'm kind of sad because they just announced Nendoroids, but they're doing
I saw
Toru, Kana, and Izu, but they're not doing Kobayashi.
I mean,
and I'm like, but they need to hold hands. I've got my priorities in order.
Fair enough.
Do you have a favorite dragon?
It's probably Kanna, just because she's so cute.
She's so cute. I love her.
I love like gifs where there's this gif of her just eating stuff and she just opens her mouth and just I don't know why. It's so cute.
She's adorable. She's got great gif potential. I also really like Fafnir, actually.
just being snarky and just gaming all day. That's me right there.
He went so fast from like, oh, I'm an evil dragon and I hate humans, to like, leave me alone, I'm playing my video game.
I'm a neat and I have like a booth and call me Ken.
I like live with my boyfriend who is just like fine with it. It's great.
I love the series. It's awesome too.
Yeah.
All right. I have a question. I put a question down here. Who's Lemon?
Oh. Well, on New Year's, hang on. I can bust it out. Not on New Year's. What am I saying? On April Fool's Day, back when
last year?
Yes, last year. When Among Us was like really big. I kind of miss doing Among Us. But I did a stream with some friends and I said I was Honey Lemon, which is a character from Big Hero 6.
Oh.
And once in a while people will ask me like, isn't that a character in Big Hero 6? So as my like April Fool's Day joke, I pretended I was Honey Lemon. And I just like slapped a yellow blanket on or whatever. But then like I got imposter like a bunch of times. And even though usually I'm not very good at imposter, for some reason Lemon was like very good at killing people and getting away with it.
Oh.
So she sort of just naturally became like my yandere
alter ego.
Like alter ego. Which is not something I intended to have, but
I see.
I've got like a Twitch redeem to turn into Lemon. And I may actually I've got a little preview.
Oh, there you go, the eyes.
I shouldn't laugh when I'm making that face. I mean, hi, I'm Honey Lemon.
Hi.
Trying to frown, but it's not working. Alright, that's enough of that. The problem with that is that then I have to try to sound cool for any amount of time.
Do you have like an Ikibo?
どうかな? I have, hang on, I'm trying to, I do have a voice for Honey Lemon, which is really just dropping my voice about as low as it'll naturally go.
Right.
But, and that in itself is sustainable, but I'm also, I don't know, I've got one brain cell. It's hard to actually act cool for any amount of time. I end up like giggling about something and ruining it immediately.
Right.
Oh, you have an alter ego as well, don't you?
I do, Yoshiaki, which I chose the way the kanji for Yoshiaki is it can be read as Yime. So that's why I chose it, because I thought it was a funny pun.
That's good.
But yeah, usually I use them for gaming. So it used to be that I used Taishi for translation stuff and I use Yoshiaki for gaming. But like lately, like everybody has just been knowing me as Taishi and I've been like doing other stuff as Taishi. So now I'm just like mainly I'm Taishi and I'm rarely Yoshiaki anymore. So I basically think of just combining the two, honestly. Then it's less confusing. But yeah.
Then they can just share one host body.
Exactly. Eminence in Shadow is getting an anime adaptation. Yes, that's another one that that's one that I did as a fan translator, like way back in the day. Eminence in Shadow. It's so good. It's so good. Like, it's hilarious. It's like one of those misunderstanding ones. But like he doesn't know that he's really powerful. And he creates like this whole like group of like super agent girls. And he thinks they're just playing around, but they're actually like going and controlling the world. But he thinks they're just hey, let's have fun.
Oh, that's a great premise, actually.
It is.
But I feel like it's so hard to tell, especially from like isekai titles, even though some of them, are very overly literal. But it's hard to guess whether it's actually like something you'd be interested in or not. But yeah, I'm kind of like I hope that Death March gets a second season, just because I am 17 volumes into it.
There's so much
content.
I
think the anime probably covered like 3, and I'm like, come on.
There's so much more. Yeah.
Give me more Aoyuki. Obviously, my number one hope would be more Spider. Or maybe like a third New Game season now that the manga just ended.
Yes, New Game. I love that. Nice. I love that one too.
I love it so much.
Cute. Kobayashi, no, not Kobayashi. Was it Kobayashi? Was so the girl with underwear. She's so cool.
Oh, Cole, yeah.
Yeah, Cole.
Oh, yeah. I love her.
Yeah. Absolutely love that one.
It's great. It pulls you in with the like moe girls, and then it actually is a lot about like making art or like having confidence in yourself and stuff like that. Yeah. Also, further on in the manga, it gets like really into interesting like game dev like politics and stuff. Not politics, but like they're working on a game and then they're told that it might get canceled, and they have to find either find another publisher or like convince their publisher to put it out.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I imagine it actually happens. Probably.
I don't want to spoil it, but yeah. I mean, yeah, it wouldn't really be like. And then they didn't get to make it the end.
No.
But because the creator worked in games for a little while, it has like a touch of realism.
I see. Fair enough. I mean, it's always more fun when the writer's actually done the thing. I suppose, yeah. Like I talked to this friend who used to be in like the Jietai. And like I was like, I know nothing about Jietai. All I know is like from the series Gate, the anime. And he was like, yeah, that one's actually pretty accurate because the author has been in the Jietai before. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Okay, well, I mean, we can move along to the last one, I suppose. I mean, I just thought we wanted a little bit of time to talk about oshis.
Of course. I already managed to gush about Kurone, even though we didn't get here yet. I just love her so much. She was the first like VTuber that I really started watching. And you know, it was either at the start of the pandemic or shortly before, so it was very like I am like sad and inside all the time. And suddenly, you know, a whole new world of girls playing games and screaming with like anime avatars, and it was great.
Right. So what was the first thing that got him? Was that like a clip of Korone or what?
そうですね. The first, I saw a few clips, and I saw her. The first live stream I saw of hers was Pepsi Man of all things. And then I saw that she and Okai did a cover of Jojo Yujo, the second Nichijou opening, and that was truly when it was over. Because Okakoro is everything, and they sang a Nichijou song together, and I was like, it's fate.
Yep, that's it.
I see when that Spurny Pepsi Man's thing was.
I see.
What about you? When did you first
I think my first one was, or at least I don't know if it was actually my first one, but now it's the one that I use to bait new people. Is the Coco and Miko Statue of Liberty one. Have you seen it?
I think so, yeah.
It's the one where Miko tries to speak English and tries to ask how to get to the Statue of Liberty, but she's like a freedom lady.
Yes, I have seen that. Oh, so beautiful.
It was awesome. Like Coco made it better. Like Miko kept on using freedom, and then she was like lady, freedom lady, and somehow it became somehow Coco sort of answered, "Let's free America together."
Oh, really?
that killed me.
Coco.
Freedom.
She's so good at escalating.
Yes.
But the Pepsi Man video is private, by the way, so I don't know when that was.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, well, there was that whole time where I think it was Sega, like a bunch of
nuked everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
But this clip is from May 2020, so it must have been around then.
I see. So yeah, I mean, I guess my Oshi was Coco, and she graduated. So my Oshi is now Kaison.
That's random.
Yeah, it's so random. It's a completely different person, completely different direction. I don't know.
Yo, I was so emotionally compromised by Coco's graduation stream.
Me too.
I was a mess, and I mean, I loved her. She wasn't like my Oshi, but I loved her a lot. And I was also like, Jesus Christ, if I'm this upset about this, then if Kurone ever graduates, I'm like in trouble.
Oh no. Like, I still remember the announcement stream like before it, people were like, what announcement? What announcement? And I was like, and some people were like, graduation. I was like, no way. And I was there, I was translating in chat. And I was like, I can't believe this. Is this a joke? This is a joke, right? It wasn't a joke.
Oh my god, it must have been so hard.
It wasn't a joke. I kept waiting for the psych, but it wasn't a joke.
Yeah.
And then
do you ever have trouble? Sorry, just a sidebar. Do you ever have trouble not like editorializing when you're live translating? Like, I have a hard time not adding like LOL at the end of a line or something.
Oh, every once in a while, rarely I would put like just W's at the end of the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I rarely use.
I was just thinking, if you were translating her saying that she's graduating. Oh, that must have been hard. I would have been like, hey, I'm not okay. But then you need to make sure everyone knows.
Yeah. I mean, I have this weird thing which sort of helps, which is when I translate, when I live translate, I don't have any emotions. I'm just disconnected from the rest of myself. It's everything in my mind, 100%. It's just the lines coming in, the lines going out, and how to say it. All the like my facial, my facial expressions is all gone. I don't remember what it is. I don't laugh, I don't smile, I don't cry, nothing happens. It's so weird.
I'm just picturing like the stony faced Yuko from Nichijou. As like Kaiten is being like hilarious. You're just like,
oh my god, that made it so much better. You mentioning Yuko made it so much better. Because I remember how she looked like.
Oh my god.
Nichijou, absolute brilliant masterpiece.
It's a classic. Oh my god, there's more Nichijou manga coming out.
There is?
Yeah, at the end of last year, Arui Sensei was just like, I feel like drawing Nichijou again, so Nichijou's coming back. I don't know what this means as far as
your job.
Like if like,
do you even have time to pick it up?
I mean, I would make time for Nichijou.
Oh, all right.
This is my problem, by the way. This is why I'm in as deep as I am in the first place. Because I'm like, I don't have time for anything. And they're like, what about Yuri? And I'm like, yeah, I have time for that. But so that also might give away part of why I got so into Kurone and Okakoro. Because, you know, Tete.
Oh, the Tete.
Ugh, they're so cute.
They're so good together.
They're dynamic, incredible. But yeah, her and Komi are my main Oshis.
Fair enough.
I feel like Komomi is my Oshi in the most literal sense of pushing other people to watch her. Because I feel like she deserves more fans.
I see.
Oh yeah, let me see what let's see if I can find the Hololive work that she did.
Ooh.
She's also apparently gonna become a VTuber mama. And I think it might be she did Akirose's 3rd anniversary goods.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Her art is great.
I can't draw for the life of me, so I'm really jealous of people who can draw well.
Yeah, I really like a lot of art. Like Ina's probably my favorite out of Halloween Gen 1. She's very chill and she's great at art. And I watch a lot of Yofi. And I feel like I've actually like picked up some digital art tricks just from watching them.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I did see your Twitter post with the Wa t-shirt, not t-shirt. The Wa.
Oh yeah, the sweater.
Yeah, the sweater. Looked nice.
Oh right, I posted the selfie with the melon head.
Yeah. All right.
It was too good of a shirt not to get.
Fair enough. It's probably warm and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cozy.
Nice.
I am, in fact, I just remembered I've got my like Korone blanket from her second anniversary good set, like on my legs right now.
She released a blanket.
Yeah, she did a whole set for her second anniversary. There may or may not have been an Oppa and mousepad involved.
All right.
That, you didn't hear it from me.
All right. It's fine. We're all cultured here.
Yeah, my good friend and like future VTuber sibling maybe who lives in Japan is also a fan, and I was like, I really kind of want like the Korone set with the postcard, but I don't know if I need that much Korone stuff. I mean, silly question, but she was like, oh well, we can go in on it together, and I can keep a couple things and then mail it to you. And she's like, I can try and like sell off the boob mouse pad if you want. And I was like, no, I want the boob mouse pad also. She's like, all right, I was just trying to give you an out. Nope, we're all in.
All in. Go big or go home.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then now my Hololive Oshi is just Mio sort of by default. Because after Coco graduated, I wanted like someone who had like a regular thing that I can translate, because I used to translate the Reddit meme reviews, which was always on a specific day of the week at a specific time. So I liked that. So at the time, I think Mio was the only one who had like a proper one, which is like every week, and it's just like an hour every week. So I started translating her, so now she's mainly the one that I watched. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I don't have as much time to... Well, part of it is that when I first started getting into VTubers, I was watching them while I was working, and I still do sometimes. I wanted to ask if you do that also.
No, I need absolute quiet when I work.
Yeah, it's very distracting. I was sort of like, I think especially in 2020, I was just like, I really need to, hear human voices and pretend I'm people, but pretend I'm people.
Right.
Yeah, kind of. But eventually I had to admit, like, all right, this is super distracting and not, I usually just work to like game soundtracks or something.
Right. Because they're so cute.
Also,
and they're having so much
they're
fun.
So cute.
And you want to watch.
And then if you're watching in the background and they say something really funny, you're like, oh, I should translate that for chat. Just like a line. And then that's how I lose like an hour of work.
I see.
Which is why I mostly had to stop live translating. But once in a while, I still do.
Once in a while. I can't wait to get back into it, man. After I'm done with these 2 volumes, I'm so gonna go back into it. I can't wait.
This is definitely making me want to do it again.
All right.
It's hard with Korone though, because she goes for like 8 hours.
That is a concern too. That is concern. You feel bad if you if you translate like a bit and then you have to leave, right? I like sometimes like,
yeah, there have been times where I'm like, I gotta go, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But as it's gotten bigger, I feel like there's also a higher chance that there's someone else in the chat translating.
Like I translate for.
I don't feel as guilty.
I translate for Kaisen now, but like sometimes like I pick a stream if it seems like it's gonna be like a talking stream. Because those are the ones that need the most translation, right? I mean, the game streams, people can see the game and sort of figure it out, right? But like the chatting stream, sometimes like it passes the hour mark, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I only have like an hour. I need to get back to work. So I say it in the Discord, in the fan court, and people are like really nice about it, but I still feel bad about it. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't, because you're still translating for free.
Well, that's true.
when I try not to think about it, but
I mean, yeah.
You're working on the side from work.
I mean, I don't consider
the side hustle that you don't
get
yeah,
paid
let's
for.
not think about it like that.
I mean,
you get paid for it in
clout.
like appreciation and or that, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just
say,
enjoy it. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does feel nice to actually have people like thank you at the end of the stream or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't happen when I'm translating. I wish there was someone at the end of like when I hit my quota for the day. They're like, "Wow, thanks for those like 7,000 characters of Death March or whatever."
Nice.
I'm like, you're welcome.
You should ask your if you have someone nearby who then you can just tell them like, I finished this. I need a compliment.
See, that's also why work streams are nice, because you can be like, "Yay, I'm done," and maybe someone will be like, "Otsukare," and you're like, "Yeah, thanks."
Yeah.
I am Otsukare. I'm gonna lie down.
All right, I think that is all the time we have. So, time for promotions. What do you got going on?
Right. I feel like I'm on Hot Ones all of a sudden.
Yeah, there's this camera, this camera, this camera. Tell the audience what you've got going on in your life.
I would probably be like sweating and crying by this point if this was Hot Ones.
Who isn't? Who isn't?
I'm only doing that a regular amount. So 2 weeks from now, I've got a Yuri. We've been calling it the Yuri Symposium. Yes, thank you. This is actually the first time I'm announcing it properly.
Oh, okay.
It's something I've talked about since my debut. Got a couple of mystery guests. And we're gonna just talk about Yuri and our favorite series and games and stuff.
Oh, all right.
That will probably be mostly on Twitch. I'll be streaming on Twitch, I think, and the other two will be streaming as well.
Awesome.
So I'll post more about that on Twitter as it gets closer.
Okay.
So I'm very excited.
Yuri, nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was hard to plan because we were just talking about Yuri the whole time. And then a month after that is my 1-year anniversary stream, or at least my debut anniversary. I kind of just informally started streaming and then did a debut after the fact. But
that's what
I've got a new outfit coming.
New outfit, nice.
We're doing this like, hololive style basically, because it's akugare shou yo ne. Like. I mean, a lot of indies do like, oh, well, if I get to 20 retweets or whatever, probably more than that.
Right.
We'll reveal the new outfit. But I like the, slowly inching it onto the screen. What could it be? So I'm going to do that. I absolutely have not figured out what else I'm going to do. Probably I should do something more entertaining because I'll need to fill at least an hour.
Can I say something about this outfit, this outline?
Yeah.
It makes me think of Lukuo. From Dragon Maid.
That's not a bad comparison.
When I first
and
saw
not
it,
in Hololive fans' terms, maybe not as boing boing, but
all right.
I do love her though. But yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm planning various new things. We'll see what I actually finish by then.
Nice.
Yeah. Other than that, I stream on Twitch. Oh, no, we can talk about that too. I actually forget when the next volume is coming out, but it's also getting an anime adaptation. And this is the series that I work on with Kaiten Books, who are a smaller publisher who are really cool with their translators. There may or may not be a name on the cover that might sounds somewhat like my name, which is probably just a coincidence. But but that's really cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So there's a show coming out, so if you want to be ahead of the curve and be really cool, you should check out the manga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of fun.
Okay.
Super hilarious.
Other than that, I stream on Twitch a couple times a week. I usually do Tuesday and Thursday nights EST, and then afternoons, mostly at random when I'm like, ah, shit, I really need to do some work.
And then you just throw it on?
Yeah, well, usually I do like Fridays at 1 p.m. EST. It's like it's the Kimari, and
the Pomodoro
then
one, right?
Lately on Monday and Wednesday, I will also be like, hey, maybe I'll do a work stream today.
I see. All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun talking to you.
Thanks for coming. I feel like there was a lot that we just understood. There was so much to relate there.
Yeah. I feel like we could easily. I would love to chat again sometime.
I would too. Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for coming. And
yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you to chat. All right.
I'm waving. I don't know why. You can't see it. You'll just have to believe me.
You will when you believe.
Yeah.
All right then. All right, that's it. Thanks for coming, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.